In the heat of our argument, Lisa, overwhelmed by her feelings, unexpectedly grasped my arm and pulled me outside with surprising force for someone her age. She shoved me into a disheveled shed situated some distance from the house. Despite my efforts to resist, her youthful energy overpowered me, trapping me within the dim, chilly space of the shed. As discomfort began to set in, panic surged through me. How could I possibly escape this situation? Amidst the rising anxiety, I felt a reassuring weight in my back pocket. Oh, that's right, I recalled frantically as I fumbled into my pocket. I am Ashley, a 39-year-old who found fulfillment in my role as an administrative assistant. Nestled within the daily intricacies of corporate life, my job was anything but dull. It was the warmth and friendliness of my coworkers that made each day meaningful. This camaraderie was the most cherished aspect of my workplace. Unlike many, I enjoyed my daily responsibilities and never felt burdened by them. Yet, despite my satisfaction with work, I often pondered my single status. Watching friends embark on marital journeys stirred a mixture of envy and sadness within me. The daunting thought of facing solitude in the future weighed heavily on my heart, leading me to question whether love was ever in store for me. Amid these reflections, my life shifted dramatically when I met Michael, a man 5 years older than I. Our paths intersected in a professional setting when he became a liaison for his company, which frequently worked with mine. Initially, our interactions were tentative, but gradually, we formed a connection that blossomed into romance. After years of nurturing our relationship, Michael and I exchanged vows, a moment that filled me with unparalleled joy. I held a deep hope that we could create a loving and nurturing home together. Michael had a daughter named Lisa, a 17-year-old from his previous marriage. He was transparent about his daughter from the beginning, and I had the chance to meet her a few times. Lisa, with her quiet demeanor and evident affection for her father, seemed to want to remain close to him. This sight warmed my heart, and I secretly wished that as we began our journey together, Lisa and I would grow closer. However, stepping into the roles of Michael's wife and Lisa's stepmother presented unforeseen challenges. I left my job to commit myself to homemaking, aiming to provide a comfortable environment for both Michael and Lisa. I took pride in preparing healthy meals and keeping the house tidy, dedicating myself to these daily tasks. Yet, the journey to truly understanding Lisa and fostering a harmonious family dynamic proved to be more complex than I had anticipated. Unveiling the intricacies and difficulties of blending families. Transitioning to family life was an entirely new experience compared to my days of solitude, with every household task seeming to multiply in complexity. Amid these changes, I found comfort in an unexpected companion, Bruce, a well-fed cat who had long been part of Michael's home. Bruce had a knack for adventure and often sneaked out, but I believed his wandering days would end now that I was consistently home. Despite the weariness of my days, Bruce's presence provided me with a unique solace. Life with Michael introduced its own set of challenges, but the joy it brought outweighed my previous single life. Nevertheless, a lingering worry was Lisa's chilly demeanor towards me, which cast a shadow over our home. Despite my attempts to engage her in conversation, her responses were scarce or non-existent. My inquiries about her day were often met with silence, and after a brief encounter with Bruce, she would retreat to her room. This pattern of avoidance led me to believe that Lisa was still grappling with my presence, a natural reaction for a teenager facing her father's remarriage and the introduction of a new stepmother. Our previous interactions before the wedding did little to thaw the chill between us, leaving me baffled about how to bridge the divide. Lisa's consistent indifference towards me became the norm, characterized by her avoidance and visible displeasure in my company. Her limited interactions with Michael seemed driven by a desire not to upset him. Yet, any form of communication, no matter how minimal, felt preferable to none. As the years passed, the gap between Lisa and me remained vast, with our shared life feeling somewhat distant. After 4 years, I still struggled to understand her interests. Except for her affection for Bruce, the initial tension Lisa's presence brought had evolved into a familiar aspect of our household. However, as Lisa entered high school, she unexpectedly initiated a conversation with me. This small shift hinted at a potential change in our relationship, suggesting that time might eventually heal and bring us closer together. My hope for a deeper connection with Lisa was rekindled, as I held on to the belief that patience and understanding could bridge the gap between us, fostering a more harmonious family dynamic. When Lisa unexpectedly started a conversation with me, my surprise caused my voice to pitch higher. Could this be the moment she finally opens up? A whirlwind of curiosity and emotions engulfed me, but I opted to remain silent, allowing her to continue. However, her forthcoming words were far from what I had hoped for. "How long do you intend to stay here? Can you leave soon? You're in the way," she bluntly stated. The shock of her request left me speechless, questions racing through my mind, but finding the right words felt beyond me. Lisa then revealed the inner turmoil she had been concealing. "I care deeply for my dad. It was always just the two of us. Why did we have to start living with someone like you? You put too much effort into acting like a mother, and it overwhelms me. I thought if I ignored you, you would leave him," she revealed. Her words hit me like sharp knives, each one piercing deeply. In her eyes, my attempts to engage with her, like asking about her day, were utterly repulsive. The indifferent mask she wore around her father contrasted sharply with the cruel reality she showed me. Lisa's spiteful comments left me heartbroken. The realization that my years of trying to connect with her were fruitless was devastating. The satisfaction Lisa derived from my distress, along with a smug grin I had never seen before, revealed the extent of her animosity. Following our exchange, I was engulfed in a profound sadness that turned into tears I could no longer hold back. The harsh truth hit me hard. No matter how hard I tried, I would never gain Lisa's acceptance or approval. From that moment, Lisa's behavior spiraled into outright insults, critiquing my cooking and implying that my existence was a burden to her father. "Dad could do so much better than you," she'd remark. Yet, in front of him, she would compliment my cooking, demonstrating her ability to flip her emotions like a switch. This duplicity left me confused and wounded, caught in a storm of conflicting feelings, joy in trying to maintain harmony, yet profound sorrow from Lisa's rejection. I struggled to keep my composure. Lisa's unyielding criticism persisted, with each remark testing my patience. I contemplated confiding in Michael several times, but the fear of adding to his worries held me back. He was often absorbed in his work, and I didn't want to burden him further. Managing this complicated dynamic became an everyday struggle, leading me to reflect on the delicate balance between seeking happiness and the harsh reality of an unbridgeable gap within our family. The constant push and pull of wanting to maintain peace while feeling defeated by Lisa's cruelty felt like a lonely battle without a clear resolution. I clung to the hope that, with time and patience, things might eventually improve. Even though Lisa claimed to love her father, I held on to the hope that one day she would seek independence and forge her own path. The idea of enduring until then seemed like a reasonable plan. For years into our shared journey, Lisa graduated from high school and went on to college, eventually landing a job nearby. Simultaneously, Michael's work required more of his time away on business trips, which grew increasingly lengthy, leaving me alone with Lisa for extended stretches. During Michael's absences, Lisa's hostility reached new heights. Complaints about the meals I prepared became a daily occurrence, with Lisa often leaving her food untouched to spend time with Bruce, our cat. This ongoing tension, combined with feeling more like a servant than a family member, pushed me to my breaking point. There wasn't a specific moment that led to my meltdown, but one day, amidst Lisa's usual barrage of insults, something inside me snapped. I could no longer suppress my frustration and confronted her, a significant departure from my usual patience. Lisa, caught off guard by my newfound assertiveness, quickly shot back, questioning my sudden change in attitude. Overwhelmed, I suggested that since she was now working and financially independent, perhaps it was time for her to think about living on her own. This proposal seemed to resonate with her, leaving her momentarily speechless. However, the tension escalated rapidly. In a fit of rage, Lisa grabbed me and dragged me outside toward a small storage shed. Despite my resistance, her youthful strength overwhelmed me, and she locked me inside. My pleas for release fell on deaf ears as Lisa callously informed me of her plans for an upcoming trip, leaving me to fend for myself in the shed for 5 days. Reassured only by the knowledge that Bruce would be fine thanks to an automatic feeder, I was shocked by her blatant disregard for my well-being and her reckless actions, left in disbelief as she deemed this cruel treatment a punishment for taking her father from her. As Lisa walked away, I found myself alone in the cold, dark shed, feeling unwell and uncertain about how to escape this dire situation. The weight of her words and actions pressed heavily upon me. The thought of being trapped in that shed for 5 days was suffocating. Panic surged as I pounded on the walls in vain. Then I recalled the lifeline in my pocket. With a wave of relief, I pulled out my smartphone. Grateful for this unexpected ally, I quickly called my friend Samantha, urgently explaining my predicament. Before long, Samantha arrived, her presence illuminating the dim shed as she opened the door, revealing her worried face. Although the time spent in the shed felt endless, The sight of the outside world felt almost surreal. I gratefully accepted Samantha's invitation to stay at her place, especially since I had no keys and Michael was away. Assuming Lisa had already departed for her trip, my next step was to inform Michael about what had transpired. I sent him a detailed message, not explicitly asking him to return, but secretly hoping he would. To my relief, Michael called back, insisting on coming to pick me up from Samantha's house, prioritizing my safety over his work commitments. His willingness to drive 3 hours just to ensure I was all right filled me with gratitude. Samantha suggested that Lisa's behavior might stem from jealousy, which offered a new perspective. It made sense. Lisa might see me as an intruder in her close relationship with her father. Acknowledging this, Samantha emphasized that just because we were family didn't mean Lisa's behavior should go unaddressed. Her words resonated deeply with me, highlighting the necessity of establishing boundaries for Lisa's sake. Inspired by Samantha's advice, I began brainstorming a plan to address the situation more directly, hoping to find a way to connect with Lisa. Samantha encouraged me to take action, supporting this proactive approach. When Michael came home, his worry was evident, and his willingness to take a few days off work to handle the situation showed how much he cared for our family's well-being. His actions made me rethink the balance between my relationship with Lisa and the importance of fostering a healthy family environment. Although this incident was difficult, it opened up a chance to tackle some underlying issues and strive for a more harmonious household. Michael and I decided that a heartfelt discussion with Lisa was essential. I detailed everything that had happened and how Lisa's behavior led to my being trapped in the shed. Michael listened intently, expressing regret for not noticing the signs sooner. Even as I tried to deflect some of the blame by noting Lisa's secrecy, he wished he had been more aware. To ease the tension, Samantha encouraged us to face the issue with determination. Her support fortified our resolve as we headed home. Although I worried about adding to Michael's stress, addressing Lisa's behavior was crucial for our family's peace. Once we were home, I laid out the plan I had crafted for Lisa, hoping to make a meaningful impact on her. After some consideration, Michael agreed, recognizing that a bold approach might be necessary to inspire change. 5 days later, as we waited for Lisa to return, we kept a window open near the shed, ready for her arrival. She came home in the late afternoon, getting dropped off by a taxi. The shed was deliberately arranged to appear as though something terrible had occurred, aimed at shocking Lisa into understanding the severity of her actions. Although it was unlikely that someone could perish in such a short time, I gambled on Lisa's ignorance regarding decomposition. Lisa's reaction upon seeing the shed's altered state confirmed that our plan was having an effect. Her confusion and fear were palpable as she stepped inside, only to confront a fabricated scene of disorder and an overwhelming stench. We approached a startled Lisa, inquiring about her trip. Our concern mingled with the necessity for a serious conversation. Michael's serious demeanor conveyed the weight of the situation, and Lisa seemed to grasp the gravity of her actions. However, Lisa's defense took an unexpected twist when she expressed worry for Bruce, our pet known for his adventurous nature, mistakenly thinking he might be trapped inside the shed. This revelation shocked me, especially her admission of forgetting that she had locked me inside. The moment became a stark realization for Lisa, highlighting not only the immediate consequences of her actions, but also deeper issues of communication and consideration within our family. Though the situation was fraught with tension, it paved the way for an honest dialogue, aiming to mend and strengthen our family bonds through understanding and empathy. Michael's frustration was palpable as he confronted Lisa's dismissive attitude, struggling to articulate his disappointment. "I never thought you'd behave this way," he said, deeply let down by her lack of accountability. Lisa attempted to justify her actions, claiming that feeling overshadowed by me led her to such drastic measures. Yet Michael quickly countered her, pointing out that her actions were driven by jealousy, not justified feelings. As Lisa continued to plead her case, she claimed her behavior stemmed from love and a misguided attempt to regain her father's attention, even suggesting that the chaos could have been avoided if I had kept quiet, shifting the blame onto me. Her reasoning twisted further, implying that my lack of likability was to blame for her misconduct. As our conversation shifted to Bruce, I highlighted her neglect and inconsistency in caring for him, contrasting her claimed affection with her actions. Her concern for Bruce seemed superficial, especially considering her earlier statement that it was acceptable to leave him alone for days. This, along with her ignorance of his needs that Michael and I had been tending to, underscored a lack of genuine care. Lisa's response to my candid observations was one of anger, accusing me of being an outsider disrupting her family dynamic. Her inability to see beyond her perspective led to a heated argument, prompting Michael to intervene and emphasize the selfishness of her reasoning. In a decisive moment, Michael made a heart-wrenching choice, telling Lisa it was time for her to leave our home. He stood firm in his belief that we could not harbor someone whose impulsive actions endangered others without remorse. Despite Lisa's pleas and tears, he remained resolute, marking a somber turning point in addressing the consequences of her behavior and underscoring the importance of responsibility and empathy within our family. Lisa's attempts to seek understanding from Michael fell on deaf ears. Her cries were met with a firm dismissal. In a moment of desperation, she turned to me for support. "Ashley, can't you say something?" she pleaded, but standing with Michael, I encouraged her to accept the decision. "It's time for you to move on," I advised, pointing out her tendency to focus solely on her needs during conflicts. With a heavy heart, Lisa gathered her belongings and left, her figure fading into the distance, representing both her solitude and a strange sense of relief on my part. In the days that followed, my phone was flooded with messages from Lisa, apologies, pleas for forgiveness, and updates on her situation. The frequency and timing of her communications felt overwhelming, revealing her self-absorption. She shared her struggles with finding suitable housing, her criteria appearing too specific for her budget, which reflected her challenges in adjusting to her new reality. Michael received similar messages. His reaction was a mix of surprise and disappointment, contemplating whether Lisa's issues were genuine or a result of her self-centeredness. Even considering her circumstances, the thought of inviting her back was inconceivable. We hoped Lisa would embark on a journey of self-reflection and growth, a path she seemed hesitant to pursue. Life without Lisa brought a soothing tranquility to our home. Michael's travel obligations decreased, giving us more quality time together. The absence of tension allowed for a more relaxed and harmonious living space. Lisa's unwillingness to heed previous warnings had led us to this point. Yet looking back, it felt like a necessary transformation for our household. Our days are now filled with simple joys and shared moments of happiness. After a long day's work, relaxing on the sofa with Bruce nestled in my lap serves as a gentle reminder of the peaceful life we've created. As he drifts off to sleep, I'm enveloped in hopeful thoughts for the future, yearning for many more tranquil moments like this, where our only concern is the happiness of our little family. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay amazed.